Dighton rock of the USA is thousands of years old with a mysterious message written on it. What ancient civilization wrote this? It's in an ancient Phoenician alphabet and it's found in Dighton, Massachusetts. It's a 40-ton boulder originally located in the riverbed of the Taunton River in Berkeley, Massachusetts, formerly the town of Dighton. The rock is noted for its petroglyphs, its primary lines, geometric shapes, and schematic drawings of people, along with writing, both verified and not, carved designs of ancient and uncertain origin, and the controversy about their creators. Who made these hieroglyphs? In 1963, during construction of a cofferdam, state officials removed the rock from the river for preservation. It was installed in a museum in the nearby park, Dighton Rock State Park. So, who carved this rock? It not only does not fit in with the surroundings, but contains on the surface incredible ancient inscriptions. Many tried to unlock the highly controversial truth it hides about the scope and origins of the ancient civilizations that created this. Dighton rock, as we said, 40-ton boulder, slipping during the melting of the ice during the last ice age, as it seemed to be gradually accepted until this theory was overturned. It's 5 feet high, 9.5 feet wide, 11 feet long, consisting of gray-brown crystalline sandstone. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. And this is how it looked like when it was found about 1920s. This picture is from then. And in addition to the size and peculiarity in relation to the area that it was found or placed, it is the petroglyphs on one of its 6 sides that caught the spotlight and have inspired more than 1,000 books and articles to be written about this rock. They also created the database for more than 35 cases on the hieroglyphs, the petroglyphs on it. The mystery of the Dighton rock began in 1680, when the Reverend John Danford, who visited it, believed that the sculptures on it were carved by Native Americans, who supposedly described the story of a quote-unquote wooden house, that is, a ship, that arrived when a battle between locals and newcomers took place. Later, in 1767, another case was made by Ezra Stiles, president of Yale College. Stiles claimed that the famous sailors, the Phoenicians, had reached as far as North America on at least one of their voyages. The message they sent is supposed to state their statement that they got there. So they carved it on a stone, the Phoenicians. Much later, the Danish writer Charles Christian Raft, in 1837, through 40 pages of analysis and explanations, considered that the inscriptions were definitely Norwegian. Thus, the rock became the Viking affair. At the beginning of the century, in 1912, Edmund Burke Delabarre, professor of psychology at Brown University, after studying the sculpture for many summers, came to the conclusion that it was Portuguese. In fact, this case was supported by the Portuguese government and the Portuguese people. Since then, many scholars, amateur archaeologists, students, and tourists have made the trip to visit this strange rock and tried to decipher the signs, each giving their own interpretation or supporting some that were preceded. So let's give our interpretation after first noting that Delabarre had mentioned that this rock had a kind of hypnotic effect on humans. In other words, it was something like a well-known Rorschach test on which people tend to see what they want to see and believe. So in our imaginary hypothesis, we could claim that Ezra Stiles' view of the Phoenician origin of the sculptural elements is partly correct, since we admit that the so-called Phoenician alphabet came from the Phoenicians of northern Greece. Beyond that, things are simple. Too much evidence, clues, and many hypotheses such as the actual voyage of Ulysses to the American coast. According to Henrietta Mertz, the American archaeologist, and Siegfried Petridis show that the Greeks, a few thousand years ago, and perhaps even in the Ice Age, and the ability to travel to all seas and oceans, and of course to distant continents such as present-day America. Why hadn't the Phoenicians of northern Greece, Epirus, succeeded in declaring their presence through the letter sculptures on the Dighton rock? Be that as it may, whatever the truth may be, surely the rock hides behind it an ancient civilization that may have left no descendants. Nowadays, Dighton Rock is housed inside a special constructed museum to protect it from potential graffiti by tourists and visitors, but mainly from the elements of nature. Now, we know that the ancient Greeks, the DNA of the ancient Minoans, were found around the Great Lakes area in the native American tribes around the Great Lakes. Also, the fact that one of the very old university, the Eastern Coast University's professor wrote to the chiefs of the Indian tribes in the Greek alphabet, in an ancient Greek language, saying, I'm writing to you in your mother tongue, in your alphabet that you know, so that you can understand what I'm writing. So that's all very strange. The fact that they had the language, the knowledge of the language, and the DNA. DNA doesn't lie. I've translated this for you from Greek, and also I'll leave the link below for the Dighton Rock Wikipedia article, history and mythology and things like that, and the inscriptions of the hieroglyphs and the cuneiform script. Thank you for your support. Please leave your comments. Thank you.